Now, back here, our Prime Minister also attacked the Russian president for formally recognising those two enclaves that Russian-backed militias stole from Ukraine, and for saying that Russia would send in what Putin lied were peacekeepers.
Russia should step back. It should unconditionally withdraw back behind its own borders and stop threatening its neighbours. It's unacceptable, it's unprovoked, it's unwarranted. And Russia should understand that by seeking to invade another country, that this cannot advantage them and it would seriously and significantly cost Russia and their international reputation.
Joining me from the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, is Oleksiy Sorokin, political editor of the Kyiv Independent newspaper. Oleksiy, thank you so much for joining us on what's a really grim day for your country. What did you make of Putin's announcement that Ukraine is in fact a Russian creation, a Bolshevik creation, and is sending in what he calls peacekeepers to the eastern parts that have already been stolen by pro-Russian forces?
Well, when we were listening yesterday to the speech, it was very scary. The speech began as a declaration of war against Ukraine, and the fact that he ended up recognizing the Russian-controlled parts of Ukraine as independent and sending troops is eventually a bullet for Minsk, for the Minsk agreements. And I am shocked and surprised that the West haven't introduced any swift sanctions whatsoever.
It is shocking. You refer to an agreement. Let's not forget that when the Soviet Union collapsed, Ukraine, had a lot of those nuclear weapons of the Soviet Union still on your soil. And in exchange for guarantees from the West, from the US, from Britain, from Russia, you gave them up. You would not be in that position if you had not given those nuclear weapons up. And you gave them up on the guarantee that Russia would respect your borders, and so would Europe. And it's all gone for nothing. Do you think Ukraine has been let down by the West?
Yes, we think that Ukraine has been left alone in this fight. Yes, we hear strong words from the US, from the UK. They were sending us weapons, but we expect much, much more. We have 13,000 people dead starting from 2014 because of Russia. We have occupied territories. And now Russia is waging an all-out war, moving in troops, and we are confident that Russia won't stop at this.
But aren't you happy that Germany sent you 5,000 helmets? That should make a big difference.
Ukraine and Ukrainian leadership is absolutely shocked about the reaction from Berlin and Paris. I want to remind you that these countries are part of the Normandy format, the two countries that are set to find a peaceful solution to Russia's war. And these are the two countries that have been letting Ukraine down recently with a very softball response.
Oleksiy, what do you think's going on here? Why do you think the West is so weak?
I think the problem here is that not a lot of people actually care about what's happening in Ukraine. For many, it's a conflict somewhere far from their homeland. And as we know that most Germans don't support Ukraine's aspiration to join NATO, for example, according to recent polls. And for those politicians, for them, it's key to try to keep business as usual. And that's what scares many Ukrainians, is that when Russia further invades and every next step that Russia makes, we feel that we might not get a response from the countries that guaranteed our sovereignty in 1994 when we gave up nuclear arms.
No, you're being sliced like a salami, to be honest. And for Australia, what we've got to recognise is that if the West doesn't stand up to the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, Russia's ally, China, will think, hey, we got a green light to invade Taiwan. I think we're really looking at something extremely, extremely serious here. Oleksiy Sorokin, I'm very sorry that your country's in this mess. I hope that Australia won't be one of the next to feel the precedent here. Thank you very much for your time.